They didn't listen, poopers. Now, most of you already knew they wouldn't, but now it's official. They went against the image they portrayed to us about the game and revealed their cash-grabby hands blatantly for all to see. So this will be my last BDO weekly. With it, I want to give some consolation to the groups of players that plan to keep playing and those who have already quit or plan to quit. So let's take a look at what happened with BDO and likely what will happen. When I initially played Korea BDO, one of the first things that annoyed me about the game was the looting system. How the game encourages grinding on a massive scale in terms of how many monsters you need to kill, but to loot, you have to bend down and play out a loot animation for each and every single mob to make sure you don't miss any money or potential drops. I thought, wow, this loot system sucks. I hope they fix this. And someone quickly corrected me by saying, it doesn't suck, you just gotta buy a pet. To which I asked, oh, a pet? How do I get those? And was met with, those are cat shop only, or you can buy it from another player. I was instantly annoyed. A pretty much mandatory feature in the game is locked behind a paywall, and God knows I wasn't putting money in Korean BDO. I was just there to learn about the game, so I suffered through farming about 16 million silver of kneeling over to loot stuff to buy one pet, only to realize that I should be buying about 4 pets. And then I could breed those 4 pets with another 4 pets to make them better, and only then would I not have to loot stuff by myself anymore. Oh, also, these pets could provide buffs that are randomly generated when you get them and level them up. So, you guys get the point. I was thinking, wow, what the fuck? What a clusterfuck. Without even looking at the rest of the cash shop, I was already annoyed with this sort of monetization. So here comes NAEU BDO, and they announce its buy-to-play model with a cash shop. And I'm thinking, okay, are they gonna make us buy pets too with the buy-to-play model, or can we get them in-game somehow? I hope to God they do something about pets. Then they announced their cash shop model. Pets are Pearl only, not loyalty. Pretty much mandatory game feature locked behind a paywall and RNG, costumes and gillies as well. The loyalty had inventory and weight limit stuff, so that didn't jump out at me as bad, but honestly, I was already in the fuck that boat and started playing Blade and Soul. It was pretty obvious that playing BDO, while not exactly pay to win as it was being advertised at the time, was gonna be super expensive to buy all of their quote convenience features, which they quote conveniently made only available via Pearls. Then Mizugami, the leader of Luciform, saw my BDO vids and excitedly told me to come play with them on NA, that he was making a hardcore guild, and his timing was honestly perfect. I had gotten bored of Blade and Soul because it was just more of the same dailies and instance dungeon grinds. You see, even though BDO's payment model and cash shop was atrocious from the get-go, it brought to the MMO market something new and refreshing. Seemingly limitless progression, no fast travel, no instancing, and what BDO's game did was eliminate the dailies, dungeon, queuing shit that was in almost every other MMO and re-establish a community-based game. And Blade and Soul simply didn't offer that. So I said, okay, fuck it, I'll play the expensive fucking game and deal with all these not mandatory but actually mandatory cash shop purchases. Especially now that I had a guild of guys to play with that I knew were fun to play with. So I'm in BDO and there's the ghillie drama. So at this point, nothing is, in my opinion, technically pay to win. You have to buy it to be competitive, but once you have it, you're at the same spot as everyone else. Pets, costume, weight limit increases, horse costumes. You've dumped like €200 on the game. You're finally done paying the stupidly expensive upfront costs. Now you're not happy about these purchases. You didn't want to buy 6 cute doggies to have to smash them together into 3 cute doggies for €60 just so you had the best doggies. But you felt you had to. You didn't want to buy an outfit made out of green leaves. It looks stupid and everyone else has it. But you want to be competitive like everyone else and have fun, so there goes another $30. You don't want to drop $20 on weight limit increases, but you gotta grind so much, and without it, you're running to town way more often than all of your buddies. At this point, it's worth noting, for later in the video, that BDO announced it way overshot its sales predictions in the first weeks, saying it had more than enough money to keep the servers running for a year. This was at 400,000 copies sold. We're now at 1.1 million copies sold a few months later. So if any of you fuckers try to argue that the recent updates were to keep the game growing, you're a blind idiot. They were already making bank off of NA and EU. Okay, so they keep adding shit to the cash shop. Fish costume, more costumes. It's all vanity, none of it's super pay to win, more weight limit, etc. Just annoying shit that you kinda have to keep buying if you don't already have it. Then a few weeks ago, we get the value pack. Out of nowhere, they add another thing you gotta pay monthly for this already stupidly expensive and horribly monetized game. Most of the features of the value pack were purely vanity and convenient, except one, just enough to make it needed for people wishing to be competitive, the 30% marketplace tax reduction. So half the community's pissed, half are defending it, saying it ain't no big deal. It's not technically pay to win. And they're right, it was not pay to win still. But it's still another fucking thing you had to pay for to be competitive, not to mention that it was unannounced and invalidated the dies of any other player that had paid money for a die previously. So basically fuck you to those guys, and these implementations all came out side by side the release of the Night Vendor. Basically an RNG NPC that can sell you every best in slot piece of gear for silver, which skyrockets the value of what silver could do for you in the game, i.e. fully gear you, without you having to farm for drop. It was 100% planned to be released at this time. This is why the Night Vendor was delayed in our version so long compared to the other versions, so he could help sell this pay-to-winish silver crap. So we're sitting here, people just want to enjoy the game without being haggled to keep paying for shit. Is that too hard to ask? League of Legends doesn't think so, Heroes of the Storm doesn't, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike, Dota, all of them don't add shit to their cash shops that you gotta keep buying until the game costs €300 with a monthly fee. Why you gotta do it, BDO? About 50% of the community complained about this shit. And you know what their solution was? They said, how about if you won't pay for all of this stuff, we'll let other people pay us for you, and then you can just give them silver for it, and they can get all their gear in exchange. A pay-to-win feature. The scale of it does not matter. The exchange rates, limits of it, whatever. It does not matter. It's the intent and mentality of the company. Instead of removing some of the mandatory Pearl Shop items or making them available in some way, shape, or form in the game, no sir, no freebies here, it's pay-to-win time. And it's frustrating. People love BDO. It's still unique for all the reasons I described earlier. Now, it's got its problems, but instead of fixing the problems, the past few patches were purely cash shop additions, like value packs and maids. Instead of improving the game, BDO is improving its money-grabbing techniques. And the people who love the game for what it is got tired of this and protested very loudly and got completely ignored. And there's a limit to how much people will take getting shit on by a company before they break. And for a huge portion of the community, this was the breaking point. Understand, this is why yesterday the game more or less died. Now this sounds like hyperbole for you guys still playing, but you'll start feeling it over the next few weeks. So the ability to obtain 100 million silver a week with cash will cheapen the value of your playtime. That's what happens when you pay for progression in a video game. It'll cheapen the experience of the game when you use real money outside of the game to buy stuff, to be better in it, rather than being better by playing it. It's a fact. That's why most pay-to-win games have such high turnover rates. You pay real money to beat the game without having to invest as much into it, and then get bored with it much easier. Now, the counter argument people seem to have to this is that it lets people with life be competitive. Now, it's a video game, but here's what you were saying with an analogy. Let's talk about Tim. Tim loves soccer. He plays soccer all day. He wants to become a pro in soccer. He's extremely good. From the morning to the night, he's playing soccer. He's better than Bob. Now, Bob can't play soccer so much. Bob's got a demanding job. He's got a wife. He's got kids. Now, Bob sees Tim being pro and is a bit jealous. Here comes Cacao and says, "Hey, Bob, if you give us some money, we'll make you as good at soccer as Tim." Bob says, "Fuck yeah, I'll pay to be as good as Tim." Now Bob pays the money and catches up to Tim. Tim is pissed. He worked his ass off to become a good soccer player, and then someone who barely plays soccer just shows up and is just as good as him because he paid money. Tim gets frustrated and leaves because his time investment has lost its value. Bob, who sees Tim leave, gets bored of being good at soccer because now that he paid to be as good as these no-lifers like Tim, they all left, so no one cares how good he is anymore. And so now Bob starts looking to play another game. He looks at basketball. Well, let me tell you, over in the basketball court, we've got Joe, who's been playing basketball his entire life. Bob doesn't have time to play his entire life. You know, he's got a job, a wife, and kids. And then Kakao says, hey, if you give us money, we'll let you be as good as Joe. In fact, you guys get the picture, right? Making progress accessible with money cheapens the value of the progress to the point where no one cares about it anymore, and it hurts the life of a game. I mean, if you still don't get the picture, let's say you want to get Beg's gloves in BDO. So you gotta plan around his field boss spawns. You gotta basically do his boss scrolls every day with the daily, with other groups of players who also have the daily. You can farm his scrolls yourself as well in the Media region from bandits or the wolf-looking motherfuckers. I can't remember the names. Hope the scroll drops and you get it, or maybe you can earn enough silver to buy the Beg gloves from another player. Now, instead of playing the game and doing all that stuff to get gloves, let's just spend 100 real-life dollars on costumes and sell them to other players, then gamble for the gloves from the night vendor till it pops up. Now, one of these two methods of getting the gloves involves playing the game. One doesn't. Which do you think is better for the health of the game? I'm running out of analogies here, but it's been clear BDO doesn't care about the life of their game as they ignore the demands of the community. So those of you who stay to use the pay to win to get silver, I'll be surprised if you're even still playing in a month. Those of you on the other side still playing but not paying, enjoying the fact that you can buy pets for silver now or costumes for your alts, please realize that the fact that you're happy you can buy features of the game previously unavailable to you without real money is a huge problem in and of itself. So with progress and competitiveness cheapened in the game, I understand why many people left to go back to games that have reputations for caring about the game and not about the hair salons in Korea that they're investing in. And for those of you that stayed, I understand as well. BDO is still a very unique experience on the MMO market right now, with great combat and features that there's no other game you can really go to that'll feel the same. But don't think that this wasn't a huge hit for BDO. The reputation of BDO has been raped. It's got the pay-to-win label, and the population dwindled and will continue to dwindle. With that in mind, as a last piece of advice for those remaining, you should anticipate the server merge and take advantage of it. Make sure to create alts on other servers in your region in NA and EU, and be sure to log in the alts of all servers each day to claim loyalties and attendance rewards and GM apologies. When the servers do finally merge, the items and loyalties from the other servers will combine and you'll be a happy panda. And for all those guys just flaming leavers as whiners, etc., you realize you're flaming people who really cared about the game, right? And were a part of your community? Don't be so sure that lol now grind spots are empty lol 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 is a good thing for the health of the game. RIP BDO, you were a great game, but those behind the scenes used you to rape people of their wallets. You will fade into the obscurity of other pay-to-win MMOs and pay-to-win Korean publishers. That being said, I anticipate the inevitable server merge and free-to-play will revive the population a big chunk, so you guys can hold out for that. But until then, I'm gonna go super casual in BDO. So what's in the future for my YouTube channel? I still have a lot of footage for BDO, so expect a few more videos. Now, Luciform is forming its WoW raiding guild as an alliance playing on Kel'Thuzad. And once we've established our core, we'll be recruiting those players interested in raiding in Legion. WoW has its problems of dailies and dungeon grinding, but at least it's not gonna fuck you over like Korean MMOs, right? And the equalized PvP has been extremely fun since I picked it up again. So if you're interested in that, I'll be dropping some content there as well as other games as I will start streaming very soon. I'm actually really excited about Camelot Unchanged. It's promising a lot of similar premises BDO has, but because it's made by a non-Korean developer, it likely won't go pay to win. Unfortunately, it's a long ways off, but I'll probably start poking around there to show you guys what the game is about and what to expect. So I hope you guys stick with me and stay as boopers. I had a blast with you all in BDO and hope to see you all in the next games, but until next time, I am booping out. Boop.